Well, hello there. That was so kicking. I just had to start the show with it because it just reminds me of all those great 90s songs. And, what better way to start a hero show with some nice hero music? So, you guys ready to take this journey to become a hero? Are you, Shadow? Even though you are a hero already.
Woo! Yeah, we don't always start the show with that every time, man. That was
Dude, that
whoever
thing
made
rocks,
that.
man.
Man, if only there's a way to support whoever came up with that.
Oh,
through their
well,
Kickstarter.
we'll have our chance because they have a Kickstarter going for this incredible RPG that they are doing. And of course, we all know that the superhero RPG is one of the hardest ones to do. So I can't wait to see how they're getting this accomplished.
I can't wait, man. I love RPGs. I love superheroes, nerding out, all the good stuff. And if you
Of
got a
course,
rockin' theme song, oof.
you can't have no fun without the intern or not the
Oh, yes, you can.
intern.
Don't even try and sugarcoat that, Ralph. Yes, you can. It's way too easy. I'm barely even here half the time. Let's be honest.
That's because you're in the back learning Japanese.
Not my fault.
This guy here using his time for beneficial things. I don't know.
Imagine.
These kids these days, I mean, geez.
Imagine spending your time in the green room and during streams just working on things, being productive, maybe editing a few videos, probably not even for a channel you're going to be on. But who am I? Who am I to say?
The internet is for looking up funny pictures and complaining to people about things that aren't relevant to them.
Exactly. I was gonna say no. You're Nat, not the intern. The roaming Tony guy is the guy who roams. Okay, you're not roaming.
I never said I was.
We wouldn't be able to tell, man. You're in that government.
Yes, we only see the front man.
Yes.
Shen says sweet animations and hey guys. Hey Shen, thanks
What's up,
for
Shen?
being on and listening to us be all crazy.
Thank you for being a friend.
And of course, somebody's roaming in the background, and that is the Roman man himself, Tony.
Hey, that's cool, man. We got like an intro this time, man. Remember
It's just
those?
my squiggly lines that go written writ.
Remember when TV shows used to have those? Now it's usually just TV show just starts. It's like,
Dude, I
Because
miss
people
like
skip it anyways.
I miss no, I never skip
Yes,
it.
they do.
I never skip it, man.
I never
On
skip
Netflix,
it.
you do.
Unforgivable.
No, man.
Well,
When I
Netflix is
watch
so annoying,
X-Men,
man.
I watch the theme song every time.
What was the last theme song you listened to on Netflix?
On Netflix? What the hell show was I watching?
Exactly.
Look, I'm not on trial here.
Exactly.
No.
Love
I
is
have
Blind
trouble
didn't have a
remembering
very
name.
good opening theme
What
song.
was that Neverland anime?
Neverland?
Neverland.
Promise Neverland?
There you go.
Oh, but that's an anime though.
Yeah, well, anime is different.
Still a
Anime always
theme
got.
song.
Well, anime has like intros and endings, man. You can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was watching Stone Ocean
Mm.
not long ago.
Mm.
Don't stop beating them up. That song's great.
Still
All right,
can't beat
guys.
Giorno, though.
Let's talk a little bit about our friend here, Amerikaiju. They are 4 days away from being complete. They still have halfway to go. We might want to help them out and to get there because it is difficult to get these Kickstarters going and done and supported.
Yeah, and the difference is this guy, Edgar's got these books ready to rock.
He
He's
does,
trying to get the funding to get them out there. So if you back this, they are already completed.
Yeah, he's
And his
already
first
ready
three
to
were
go. So that means that you put the money in and very soon we got our books fast the last time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
And
you don't just get one book, you get 2 books, 3 books.
3, I think. Yeah, 3. 6 if you back the
if you do the original
legacy
one,
stuff.
1 book, 2 book, red book, blue book.
Yeah, this is a great little book.
Dr. Seuss.
This is a great little book. Of course, we love the what do you call their song or their little video that we have here.
Hi friends, this is Ike. You probably know me from Mr. Manny's class. This is my video presentation of Videos That I Like by Ike. That rhymes. Some of you know I like to build and play in my CT. Whoa! Wait here. Well, that was fun. Do you think I can still use this video?
Of course not, Ike. There were monsters in that video.
I gotta say, I love that little video. It's just fantastic. It's really cute. So you guys need to support America Kaiju, help them get to their funded goal. You believe me, I've read the first couple of issues. It's a great book, and you will not be disappointed if you support this.
Completely agree.
Now that we got our friend out of the way, let's talk to our pal Terry Crew, who is bringing us our way to become a superhero.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me tonight.
Of course, sir. Welcome.
So Terry, I'm going to give you the spotlight. You're going to tell us why we should support this, what this is, what's going on, who's on first, what's on second. Give us all the good nitty-gritty stuff.
All right. So The Way of a Hero is largely inspired by like your 90s cartoons, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Power Rangers. It's got Sailor Moon influence. All these different influences from my generation of growing up. And if you're like me, then as a child, you would swing sticks around and pretend that you were some type of hero. And this is for growing up as an adult and finding yourself in that situation. Obviously, we're not going to swing sticks around, but it provides a fun way to play around with your friends and to create those heroes that you dreamed of being long ago into a fictitious world where you can really make a difference.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds really good. What made you decide to go this route? Because I know this is not one of the easier fantasy type things to get done, because the balancing on superhero role-playing games is kind of difficult.
Yeah, so with superhero and that genre just in general, everybody like being a superhero is about having that heroic moment. And that's actually an aspect of the game where if you find yourself in a situation where you absolutely cannot fail, there's a mechanic for that. So what's just really cool about it is the focus is taken off of like your dice rolling and measuring your health and stuff, and it's with the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which is its base format. It's placed on a narrative tale that you're telling with other people at your table.
Sounds pretty good. I did read, and you said it right now, that the dice system is a little different. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's a very simple system. You just take 2d6, you roll them, and then your character will have specific stats that go with that. So it might be like strength, or it might be your hero's conviction. And based off of what you're trying to do, you just add those dice with that specific stat, and that tells you your level of success. So if you get, 2 6s and you add your ability to that, you're going to have an amazing outcome. Whereas if you roll 2 1s and add your stat to it, maybe something not so awesome happens. But it really gives you an opportunity to become that hero that you've always wanted to be and specialize in that. And with the I like to call it WOE, so Way of the Hero, just for short. With WOE, what you do is you're really telling that collaborative tale, and the GM is tasked with coming up with an interesting story that can't just be overcome by walking into a room and punching everybody out. It's really about mysteries, moral dilemmas, creative solutions, and realistic consequences.
It sounds like you've really put a lot of thought behind this um, role-playing game, and it's great because that's one of the important things about it. So what world are you playing in? What's this? Tell us a little bit about the world that we are in as we become the superhero.
Yeah, so it's an adaptation from real life. So you have your typical cities and countries, and as a hero, you can either be based in a specific location, which is like where you would call your home city, a city that you protect. There's also the invention of the Association of Heroic Affairs, or AHA for short. You'll see that I love to implement different short things like that.
Aha.
And so with AHA, the Association of Heroic Affairs, it's what licenses heroes and keeps them to a creed where they just don't go out and create massive amounts of collateral damage. And you'll find that realistic aspect of, like not killing villains, for example, is really important. Heroes are set to this creed where they're supposed to make the world a better place,
Hmm.
and so that's part of the challenge. When you talk about a superhero game, part of that challenge has to be living in the confines of, you know, heroes that would be recognized by governments and wouldn't be looked down on as villains by other people in the public.
So far, we
That's
got
really
Comics
interesting.
Talk Weekly saying this looks interesting, and our friend and pal here
What's up,
has
Phil?
been itching to say things. Andrew says, "Hello, everyone. Is a Wave of Hero an entirely D6 game mechanic system?"
Yeah, so you just use 2d6s. So it's super simple. It's really great for people who have never played any type of role-playing game before, because it's not like you have 25 or so different statistics that you have to keep track of. Uh, it's just super easy. You can pick up and play with anybody.
That's pretty good. Hey, Son of Saint, how you doing? It sounds simple. It sounds like because I know one of the things that gets people, especially as a D&D player, the dice system throws a lot of people off. For us D&D players, it's like you know we know what we're doing already, but but when you get somebody new in, it's like I'm rolling what I'm doing what am I doing what's going on?
It's the overcomplicated dice system that gets people.
Sure, and just the intimidation of setting up a stat sheet and everything like that. But
No, stat sheets are fine. It's when you got you got your D20s, your D6s, your D10s, the D4s, the D3s, and then the D8s. And then someone is like, all right, everybody
no
remember to
love for
roll
the D100s,
D50
huh?
for your initiative.
You have like that dice that has all these I don't know, different. I don't know. It's not a cube. It just has I don't know, these numbers all. Seems hard. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, so it seems hard. That seems like the trickiest part.
It's the math aspect of D&D does get to a lot of people, but once you start playing the game, and if you have the right DM, it kind of flows, and it becomes more about the game than it does about the mechanics and the math of the game. Speaking of which,
Hey,
Terry,
we're forgetting something though.
what?
See what copy 108 saying? You're forgetting about something very important.
Of course, copy says, "Don't forget about these nuts."
Never.
Andrew says he's sold on it.
Sometimes you can forget about these nuts.
A fatal mistake, if ever I've heard one.
Andrew says, and walking progression charts are the worst. I agree.
Yeah. One
And
thing that always got me
he's
about
like, "Hey, copy, no, don't acknowledge him."
hey, it was perfect, right? It was perfect. I had to give it to him.
No, this
Sorry.
game sounds great.
One of the greatest things about these systems is the creation of the character. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so every character that you see in the book is actually inspired by a real person playing it. So all of the art and everything, we went through massive amounts of playtesting. And so there are 20 different main power types. And they range from like darkness to light to legendary to cosmic, biological, technology. And all of these are inspired by real people that played their specific hero in a playtest.
That's awesome.
That is
So
fun.
you've got a ton of versatility in coming up with your powers. Is that all attributed to your roles at the beginning? What
No,
class you
so
fall?
there are over 200 different powers in the book, and when you create your character, you can, if you're an original player and then you're new to role playing in general, you can just take the powers that are in that specific branch. But if you're like, I've got this specific vision in my mind, and I want to make this character exactly like this, you can pick the powers from the entire list.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can do that without having to homebrew it. There's a system available.
Yeah, and there are actually GM instructions for if a power doesn't exist already, how a GM can make that balance for the system.
That sounds great. That's after you.
So let's say I want to be a hero of justice. I want to be a bow fighter who uses swords, and like as an ultimate ability, I create like this epic world just filled with swords that I've created just to launch them straight at a single individual person. Is there a way to do that?
Ooh.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's go.
So, like I was alluding to earlier, there's something called a heroic moment. And depending on the length of your game, your GM can give them out for amazing role play, kind of like inspiration in Dungeons and Dragons. But in the way of a hero, it's kind of different because it's when you're talking about those ultimate moves, like you just suggested there, like that absolute moment that you can't fail and something amazing needs to happen. That's when you spend that. So it's not like you get advantage on your roll. Like you get a critical pivotal moment where your character just blows everything out of the water. But you'll find that in most stories that doesn't necessarily uh, end the game. You know, when you think about superheroes, you go into this epic battle against a villain and maybe he has bombs throughout a city, for example. You can go in and you can wipe him out, but you find out that all of these bombs are still on a timer. So you've used your heroic moment to take the villain out, but now there's still this debacle about where are all of these things? How are you going to deactivate them? Can you do it in time? Prioritizing where they're at in the city. So you can see how the mechanics and story flow along while keeping that balance of different powers.
That's a true DM moment right there. Whoa, you've defeated the villain, but guess what? There's a bunch of bombs all over the city, and you just wasted your heroic moment.
Yeah.
That's fine. Sacrifice a few for the many. Sacrifice a few for the many. That's it.
Oh man,
Noted. Okay.
dude, I like the fact that in your Kickstarter you actually have places where you can actually get the MP3 of the soundtrack as part of the tiers.
Oh, it's even better than that. You get custom theme songs made for your character.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yes. Let's
now
hear
you're
more about
talking.
that.
So
Wow.
our artist loves creating different types of I'm sorry, not movies, but music. And we're actually working on a soundtrack of background music to go
Nice.
along with the book. So as you're playing in different scenes, perhaps it's like a moment of absolute victory, or maybe a moment of defeat where things didn't go your way. The DM in the background can be playing this music to kind of inspire that story and create the ambiance.
Which is always important to any game that you play. Music you pick can sink or make your game. We all know that.
It's nice to have an RPG with its own soundtrack.
Definitely.
It's nice to be able to play games with music.
Yeah, especially music you can play, because
Mhm.
I'm guessing it's not going to get you a DCMI warning or anything.
Which is why I generally don't play mine with music.
So, dude, tell us about your Kickstarter. What's going on? What we got? I'll see if I can scroll through this to help you out.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter is already funded. I think we were funded within the first
Congratulations.
48 hours.
Congrats, man.
Thanks.
Wow.
And I would largely attribute that to the number of playtesters that we've really had involved in making sure that the system, the story, the world are all in sync with what people want to play. As far as rewards go, we have everything from digital copies of the book, where and with any donation towards the Kickstarter, you get credited in the actual book. We're going to list out everybody who
Nice.
supported it. So you can get a digital copy of your book, a hard copy of your book. It's going to be nice. So one of the unique things about our Kickstarter is we're really invested in experiences. And what I mean by that is, if you've heard of like D&D in a castle or different games like that, where people will
Right.
actually run them for you,
Ooh.
what we have with one of these is a ticket to a weekend that we're running. There's actually a number of people who help contribute to the book. We're going to be running stories on Discord.
Nice.
So you can get in with that. We'll create a character for you that you can play. You'll get a copy of the book along with it, and you can experience some different stories. And the DMs are going to be running different types. So one might have a mystery track, another might be that 90s cartoon influence, another Arthurian legend. So it's really diverse, and it will give you a lot of exposure to the system.
That's great because I know we've always been trying to like go to one of these events where you play D&D in a certain place. So that's actually a great idea.
Yeah, it was really inspired by COVID. It pushed all gaming online essentially.
Mhm.
And so, what better way to do it where you can set up a Discord channel and it has all these different cities that you could just travel to and partake in an adventure together. Um, we know that people love to make their characters come to life, and that's
Yeah.
where you'll see these rewards that come with like a custom portrait of your character drawn in the same style that the book was designed in.
Nice.
Um, as part of the book, you'll receive access to the digital character sheet where you can actually plug in inspiration art for your character or what they would look like.
Oh, that's pretty cool too.
And then, of course, custom theme songs so that you can ring in your character. And much like the Way of a Hero anthem, the theme song that you played earlier in the night,
Yeah.
you can have a song like that developed for your character by the same artist.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, man. Who has never dreamed of having their own theme song? I'd play that thing showing up anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, Ralph just got into the restaurant. That.
You can put it as your phone ring.
That's true, yeah.
And then,
It's a little easier to do theme songs now with your phone in your pocket.
yeah.
Oh, imagine your ringtone if anybody ever took their phone off of silent.
Exactly.
The other perks you'll see are larger experiences. So like this is a private 4-hour game where again one of our DMs will run something specific to your group. So we'll reach out, we'll get to know like what type of adventure module you want to go through, and we'll actually run that for you. So you can have a game and an experience with your friends.
That's pretty cool because sometimes as DM you don't get to play.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's nice to just kick back and relax.
Exactly.
We have a whole weekend experience where we can run something private for you and your friends, and then an actual campaign where once a month we'll run a game for you and up to 4 friends.
Nice.
Everybody would get a copy of the book at that point, and we'll even create a theme song for like your specific group.
Damn, theme song for the group, dude. You got some
It's
good
like an
tiers
offer.
here, man. Yeah, I can see what you mean. Like each one gets bigger, more hours, more play, more stuff. Add-ons, of course. Everybody wants add-ons, and you already
yeah.
got my attention with these booming kapows and whams.
Yeah, if I was largely inspired by the Batman of old,
Of
where
course.
you would see the penguin and then just across the street, kapow.
I
And-
always loved that. I'm a big fan of the old Adam West series, and this just talks to that.
Yeah. As part of our Discord channel, which you can gain access by just going to our website, wayofthehero.com.
Right.
But we actually have these as little emojis and GIFs that you can
Oh my
put
god.
into chat. So as we run games and somebody does something truly epic, they'll put like kapow or whack or bam.
That's great. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Ralph, stop pressing kapow.
You can get copies of the books in physical or print form, we're actually going to create that background music as a CD form. It's going to
There we
be
go.
unlocked as a stretch goal.
Nice.
So anybody that supports the Kickstarter will get access to that. But if you'd like a physical version that you can plug into your car, I think most cars still have CD players. You can do that.
It says background tracks. Are there yet to be heard songs that we can acquire?
Nice.
There are going to be a total of 8 songs.
Ooh.
Very cool.
Yeah, you've heard the theme song. Then
Mhm.
there are 5 that are, or I'm sorry, 6 that are inspired by those different types of moments that you would find in gameplay.
Right.
And then there's one song, which is probably one of my favorites, that was created for villains.
Nice.
Ooh.
I
You always
love
got a good villain
antagonistical
song.
play, and
Yeah.
so we had to give some love to the villains.
Always. A good villain makes the whole story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is so
Uh,
great. I like this idea of having its own soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, typically with Kickstarters, you'll see things like dice
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
uh, spell cards and different things like that. And we wanted to take it a different way and really promote experiences and ambiance.
It sounds like you've really thought about that and you've actually taken the players into account. And I feel like you feel what the player feels, where they want to be that superhero that they probably thought of all their lives.
Yeah, I mean, how many of us go like day to day and we do the 9 to 5 or whatever type of job we have, and it's just on repeat. And what a great opportunity to uh, escape from that real life and go into a world where suddenly you can walk through walls or blast into outer space.
That's a definite. I know. As a kid, I always had my daydreams. So,
Yeah.
so these bits here, you can actually get them on their own.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that even if you don't support the book, you can actually get the bits and pieces, which still supports the book.
Yeah. 100%.
That's great. Custom theme song if you want. Private 4-hour game. Here we go with the stretch goals.
Yeah. So the book is fully funded. At this point, that's awesome. Everybody will get their name in when they support it. One thing that I really love is creating modules. So the next one there is the fortune teller.
Ooh.
I think that this is really pivotal because it gives the DM an opportunity to introduce additional like driving factors for heroes. So the idea is that any hero that becomes licensed, so the first module that you would do is the licensing module, and that really calibrates the players to the type of world that you're creating.
Right.
So is it acceptable to destroy like 20 cars by knocking a villain into the mall? Probably not. Um, with this, after they've begun through that scenario, they go and see a fortune teller who gives them some type of plot driving factor. So they might find that they're cursed to destroy a tenth of the Earth's population,
Whoa.
or maybe they're destined for a moment of greatness. And so it sets up that moment
Nice.
and storyline for characters to really pursue.
That's really nice. I can see you've actually put some real, as the writer of everything here, you've actually put some real thought into all the nooks and crannies of everything. Because I know sometimes, in big events or big campaigns, a lot of the little bits and pieces are lost.
Yeah, we have played through all of these scenarios multiple times, and they've always been a blast. Finding the things that really inspire people is what I love to do, and it's what really drove me to create the different power types
Ooh.
and the modules and everything like that. So the cosmic power, Alexandra is a good friend of mine. She published a book, another RPG that was based on the concept of ghost hunting, and that came out on Kickstarter last year.
Nice.
And I wrote one for her, and now she's kind of returning the favor and writing a power type for me and for the Way of a Hero. And this is cosmic. She was largely inspired by like Sailor Moon, And so when she was like, "What can I do?" I know the exact thing that I want to do, and that's where Cosmic came from.
Power Cosmic is always a nice power to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, big thing in Marvel, the Cosmic Universe power. If you get it,
Yeah.
like when Spider-Man had it, he like punched Hulk all the way up to outer space. Then he flew up and brought him back down. That's cool.
Um, Another module was unlocked, and that's the President's Daughter, and that's going to be written by Tara Clapper. She is the primary author and editor of the geekinitiative.com.
Oh,
And so she has put out a number of RPGs as well over a variety of different systems. Um, she was a real pioneer into like digital gaming before COVID hit. She would run these giant games, and I would participate in them, which gave me access to her as a writer. And she had this really clever idea for a unique storyline around the concepts of like pollution and sustainability.
oh, cool.
And that's where this is going to focus around.
I
And
really
then,
like the artwork on all these too. Who's making that for you?
so we have an awesome artist, and he's actually credited on our Kickstarter. You can find him on there and just search his name, and you'll be able to see some other great stuff that he's done.
Cool.
We actually just unlocked this one earlier today, and that was some of the background soundtracks. So we've
Oh,
already
man.
started working on those.
It's just getting better and better.
Yeah,
So this is
uh,
what hasn't been unlocked yet.
exactly. So Speedster class, I feel like that's a necessity. We're gonna reach it. Moving faster than a speeding bullet, but also like being able to run and get items as fast as you need them. So essentially, we would have like powers like that too. Being able to vibrate through walls, everything that you can think of that really comes with super speed. And then Corey Matson, he's one of the testers that's been with a project since the very beginning, and he really had this vision for how heroes came into the world.
Ooh,
And we've always focused on the present time, never asking questions and looking back into the past, just taking the backstories that people have created with their characters. But he's going to really write up that history of the world that will come in the book as well.
nice.
So one of my favorite things to do when I've had a really rough day and I'm just tossing and turning in bed and I'm not quite sure how to get to sleep is to turn on like a lofi song.
Oh, yeah.
And so here we're going to create that. And then the very last stretch goal is a legendary power type. So inspired by
Ah,
characters like Hercules, for example.
legendary heroes. Always great hero.
Yeah. And probably one of my favorites. So this is actually my character. His name is Glades. Uh,
Nice.
and one of our power types is ritual based.
Oh,
So his last name is actually Iscariot, hence the whole noose.
ah,
So
Judas.
you can see what inspired him as a
Right.
hero. He's a descendant of that family line, and he's
Good
all about
concept.
regret. So regret from his ancestors being born into his life, and so his power is being able to go back in time and correct those mistakes.
It's always a pretty good power. I like the backstory though. You really thought it through.
Yeah, these are characters that we've had in our minds for many years, and it's really great to just see them uh, turn into something physical on pen and paper and be able to look at them. So Alex was a large contributor to the book. This is her character, Desdemona, darkness influenced. So you can see there she's got this darkness wrapped around her hands. She really drove that whole category of power from creating another realm, which is a realm where darkness exists only. And what happens when you go there? Everybody forgets that you exist. So if you
Ooh,
spend too much time in the area with darkness, everybody will forget you even existed.
that's an interesting idea there. Hmm.
Yeah. And then Julie was one of our main playtesters that helped create the world. And I really have to attribute her to giving the game its personality,
Right.
as far as we would be playing the game and she would just go like, whoa, and vocally add the enthusiasm that really took it over the edge.
Right.
And her character is Kendra. I really had fun with the fortune teller module with her character as we would run through these different games and modules. And I told her that her character was going to kill a third of the Earth's population,
Whew. That's
which
something
you
to
could
have on
only
your shoulder.
imagine, having
Yeah.
invested so much time into this character, to find out that, are you truly a hero or are you a villain in disguise?
That
sounds hero
shadow
worthy to me.
dragon. That shadow is really cool. The dragon.
Oh, yeah,
eye,
definitely.
That's cool. Some good
Yeah.
art.
Her character has the ability to change form. So you were talking about animorphs. This is your animorph inspired superhero.
Always great to have a form changer.
And a true hero getting rid of 1/3 of the Earth's population. That's exactly what this Earth needs. Okay,
Look,
Thanos was
Thanos.
right. Thanos was right.
And this is for our artist. He's just been really phenomenal. And every time we've come back to him with, well, I don't envision my character to look like that. He's going to look a little bit different. He has been so amazing at, making in all of these tweaks. You could only imagine like something that somebody's like a vision in their mind, and how challenging that would be to actually draw on paper.
Right.
And he has just done a phenomenal job of creating the world the way we want our characters to look, to the stickers, being able to tell someone your vision and having them create it visually is incredibly challenging, but
Yeah.
I would say he's almost like a mind reader.
And I'm sorry, what is his name?
Oh, you can scroll down a little bit more. There you go.
And Lazio?
Yep, that's
There
the
you go.
name that he goes by.
And Lazio.
Very cool.
That's what I thought
I
it
just
was. I
call
was
him
like, wait a
Laszlo.
minute, how do you say that?
Laszlo.
Aha, Laszlo. Okay.
He has this whole name that he goes by on social media and everything, and I always forget it.
This is fantastic. His art is amazing. I like his style. It has a dark feeling to it, but at the same time, it's not completely dark.
Yeah.
It's like a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, you should see some of the sketches that I drew, sending to him, being like, this is what I'm envisioning. Can you turn this into reality? And he was like, you're going to have to explain a little bit more. But you can see all the long list of playtesters that we've had in the game.
Oh, wow.
All of these people have participated and lent us their creativity in creating characters. We have all ages there, from like 18 to 60s, 70s, from people that have never played an RPG before to people that are super experienced.
Nice. That's the kind of broad play group you need, because you want to see how each one behaves as the game goes on.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of different modules you're saying for it.
Yeah.
Those are all included in the handbook, or is there supplemental material that people can get?
So it's all included in the book. Everything that's unlocked as a stretch goal will just be added into the book. Additionally, we're going to provide digital copies. So the way the modules will run is, imagine a comic book, whereas you read the different scenes, pictures, the little squares on the page. I'm totally forgetting the right word for it. But the DM will be able to share those individually, because there will be a link provided where you can access those online as well.
Panels, you mean?
Panels, there we go.
There you go.
So the DM will be able to say, like, here's a panel, this is New York City. And so describing that scene, the characters go through it. Next, the Statue of Liberty is falling over. Here's a picture of that.
Ooh.
There's a
that's really
chase.
cool.
Nice.
Picture of that. Yeah.
That's fun. So it's all written in that
is.
style.
Yep. And with the system, we're not big into railroading. And what I mean by that is players need the volatility to be able to feel that they can make a true impact on the world. If you lose that, then you're going to lose the interest of your players. So if you don't use all of the panels, like that's perfectly fine. It's going to be up to the DM to really adapt to the way the characters are playing. But usually with the scenarios of what we created, as far as modules go, they're pretty black and white. So unless you're running a module where everybody just decides, hey, I want to be a villain and I want to do the wrong thing in this scenario, it's going to be pretty right on track.
Remove 2/3 of the Earth's population? Is that what I'm hearing?
So you
Hero
don't run murder
business?
hobo.
So
Murder hoboing is frowned upon, then I suppose.
Yeah. So there is a creed, and it's introduced in the book too. There's this huge statue of one of the first heroes, and there's a creed there, and it talks about protecting everyone, never giving up on anyone, which would include your villains, never killing, keeping collateral damage to a minimal, being a light in the darkness, all of that type of stuff that you would expect from heroes. And if you don't do that, there is actually a branch in the Association of Heroic Affairs that will come for you and put you on
Ooh.
trial.
Yo, fight against the powers that be. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I like that. That means that if, you have consequences if you decide to do certain things in the game.
So you can be an anti-hero or a vigilante?
You could be. And you could play where you are standing against the Association of Heroic Affairs. There are so many different ways to take the existing world and play into it. And I say that because some people enjoy a world like The Boys, for example, where everything is nitty and gritty, and someone with super speed runs down the road, and suddenly there's splatter everywhere from where they've run through a person. That's not the type of game that I would DM, but you could definitely play it that way. I really enjoyed the mysteries, different things like that, or moral dilemmas, where people are put into a position where there are three different things going on simultaneously. Like, which one do you prioritize and go to first? And it's really fun for me to see the players squirm and like rationalize how they're going to make these decisions.
I always choose the cat.
I like that. It makes it feel like every person actually has an impact on what's going on. It's not just here's the story, you guys are in it. It's like, no, you guys are impacting the world. What you do will decide how the world reacts to you.
Yeah, and if you've played with Powered by the Apocalypse before, it's not a real game that's made for progression. And what I mean by that is with D&D, you get experience, you level up your character, you get new spells and abilities, new feats. With Powered by the Apocalypse, typically you get new powers over time, and that's really DM discretion. What we've created with the system is a secondary set of stats. If you'd like to play with them, you can. And so at the end of the scene, let's say your characters went and helped someone who was extremely wealthy, and
Right.
they give you resources like money or a new layer or different things like that. You would actually get secondary stats for wealth.
Right.
Or if you're caught on camera, you become more famous, and so there are stats for fame.
And each one of these affects things because there's a cause and effect type of thing in the world.
Exactly. So you're not just giving away experience; you're giving actual like street cred, which I think is a really neat way to integrate it into the game.
That's very neat. It's a bit different too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually the whole point is level up, level up, level up.
Yeah. And I mean, eventually, if you wanted to, you can trade these secondary stats into points to get more powers, but it's going to take you a long, long time, and your character is going to have this awesome story behind them. One of the things that we tested with playtesting was what happens when you have heroes who are very established and have like double the amount of starting points that you would from someone that was coming into the game.
Mm.
and nobody knew that there was a difference.
Oh wow,
And to me, that's really incredible
that is
because
incredible.
it allows players to have that continuity with their characters, where they've had all of these stories and things that have impacted them, and maybe they create additional connections and have additional knowledge of the world, know how things work. But then someone completely new can come in as a freshly licensed hero and be able to play on the same terms with them.
That's amazing because that means that anybody could just jump into the game instead of having to help them level up or leveling them up so they can play a higher level character, which causes issues and comes with its own dangers.
Yeah. But I really love to hear what types of heroes you guys would like to play.
That's funny. I was just asking Tony, what would he go for? What kind of superhero he would play?
Oh, I say like right now, I would love to have invulnerability, like like can't get sick, can't get any disease, can't can't get hurt. I would like that right now.
That is a good hero. It's a current hero, and I
Yeah.
can completely feel you. Vulnerability right now would come in very handy.
Yeah.
Shadow.
He said invulnerability, so I'm going to say flame on.
Ooh.
Which version of the torch?
Burns.
Which version?
Chris Evans, of course.
Chris Evans.
No.
Yeah, I always wondered how people would like to play as a firebender or kind of like the torch, like you were just describing.
That'd be cool.
Hey, you could be Brand.
Yeah.
It's so funny because there's so many different directions to go with fire-based powers. You can flame on completely. You can be like the Ghost Rider, just have a flaming head. You can just have flaming hands. There's so many different directions to go with it, and so many as comic creators,
if you're going Ghost Rider,
there's always
Cosmic,
something you can do with it. What's up, Shadow?
If we were going Ghost Rider, I'd go Cosmic.
Cosmic Ghost Rider, good story. How about you, Nat? What kind of powers would you have over there?
You really want to know, Ralph? You really want to know? You really want to know, Ralph?
2/3.
Is it that snap?
Now I'm worried. Yeah.
Do you really want to know, Ralph?
Oh my God!
Oh,
You just blew out your speakers.
Just call him the snapper. He'd be snappy.
No, that's too easy. That's too easy.
Oh my God.
I
I always go with the same powers. I want more brain capacity, more brain powers, more intelligence, more wisdom. So I would always go in that direction, and that's the direction I tend to go in. And they go, but Ralph, how is that going to help you out, dude? Man, if you got enough intelligence and wisdom, you can get pretty creative.
That's true.
That's
Professor
scary to me.
X, or
Yeah, that's scary to me. I don't want to know everything. I think ignorance is bliss, man. I don't want to know everything.
I completely agree with you. The more you know, the more you're stressed.
I don't know, man. Like like you're eating a hamburger. If you knew every single thing that was done to that piece of meat before you ate it, you're like, oh, I can't.
I'd still eat it.
I mean,
I'd still eat it.
I figure you would.
Listen, when you're American, you just eat it.
I'd still eat it, but it's man.
I always think of like when I forget what's the name of the guy, but like on the BBC who went around to school showing kids like how they made chicken nuggets. And all the kids were like, ew. So would you still eat chicken nuggets? And all the kids just raise their hands like, yeah, we're still going to eat it. Like, that's us.
No, you'll get over it. I mean, I think you'll get over it.
No, like they did it right at that instant. They're like, ew, no, I'll still eat it.
Yeah, they've come to terms with it. They're like, man, I don't like it, but...
You have a really good system here, Terry. I also feel like it can come in handy for creating comic books, period. Because it gives you a chance to figure out how powers would work together. Even a chance to play out the character and see what the character would do. in person. And that's pretty good. As a writer, I'm always looking for ways to get more creative, and that sounds like an idea of, hey, I want to make a superhero, but I need to know how he works, and the best way to be to actually role play him.
Yeah, and there are several fan fiction stories that have started because of different modules that we've ran.
Nice.
People get so
Oh,
invested
cool.
in their characters, they're like, let me tell you what happens in between then and now.
Oh, that's always great. That's always fantastic. And that's exactly what I'm saying. You start to inspire because the system is working so well. And I like the idea that it's new heroes. Because usually these systems end up going with uh the more established heroes, or making the more established heroes.
Yeah. One of the most common questions that I get is, what's the difference between this game and other games like maybe Mutants and Masterminds or Masks that already exist? So one of the first things is you're not playing children, so you're not children that suddenly have superpowers. You're adults, and the system is so easy to pick up and play. You don't have to invest like 6 hours into creating your character with all of these different stats and powers and having these prerequisites in order to have that. You could open up the book and say, okay, I'm going to take the first 7 powers out of technology. You've got your character right there.
Nice.
Whereas other people are like, let me tell you the 10 characters that I have in my mind, and here's all of their character sheets. Can you somehow introduce all of these into the world in case I ever want to play them? And we've had scenarios like that too. So it's been pretty neat.
That's really nice. And I like the fact that um if you just want to start off, all you need is $20, and that'll get you the digital version, and you can just start playing.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy that goes for the digital version, but it's good to have that option, and it's only a $20 option, which is pretty decent. So that means that you can pick up and go for $20, dude, man.
Nice to hold something in your hand, though, isn't it?
Oh, I love it. I always have to go for the nice hardcover book, as you can tell.
I can't really see, Ralph. I can't really see. All that looks pretty digital to me. How do I know that's not all CGI? That touch it. I bet you can't touch it and pick something up out of it. It looks CGI.
I'm touching it. Leave the green
Really,
screen
really
alone,
truthing
boy.
I'm here tonight. Huh? It's all part of the hologram.
Don't worry.
Like-
One of these days, I'll come in here with a VTuber suit.
So I have to ask, because the song alone just puts these pictures of Saturday morning cartoons, and of course, as I keep hearing you talk about the game, I keep hearing video game in my head. So there's two things that I'm thinking about, which is animation and video games. Have you guys considered going in those directions?
So Laszlo actually builds video games.
Ooh.
And so you'll see that inspiration in his art. It's definitely on our docket to finish the animation. So right now it's kind of in a storyboard mode. You can see that it's not quite fleshed out.
Right.
One day it definitely will be. Animation is a lot of work though.
It is.
And even for that short video that's like 47 seconds, I think, the work that you see there is like weeks worth of his time.
Oh, definitely. We know this.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And so putting together something like that, it'll happen just after the Kickstarter.
Oh, no, you should say it right.
Fair enough.
Get us funded. Get some money in. The more money you get in, the more you help us expand this universe, because it's such an excellent universe.
This is true.
And I gotta admit, like, one of my favorite games to play was City of Heroes. I had a blast playing City of Heroes. It was similar to this. I can't say it was completely similar to this because it was a whole other aspect, but I like the idea of being able to go, you know what I want to play today? I want to play my superhero. Let's go online and play them. I can't play them exactly in the video game, but I have an idea of who he is and what his powers are. Because City of Heroes kind of like blocked you in certain ways.
Yeah. Yep. I was a huge fan of that game too.
Oh
I
yeah,
played it nonstop
fantastic.
for days. Gosh.
I really enjoyed running around as a superhero, then running around as a villain.
You'll see so many influences of things like that. My Hero Academia, if you're a fan there. All of these pop culture references in the way of a hero.
You got us sold, bro, and you already saw a couple people in the comments going, "Sold." I like what you have here. I like the fact that this is a team project. I can see how every person has put their input into it and has made it what it is. Dude, I wish you much success. I like the fact that you already funded and everything now helps you expand the universe.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes, and it's really community building of the world. That's the beauty of it. I would encourage anybody to join that Discord channel. We're still running playtest of the different powers that we're creating as Kickstarter goals. And then we've got the big event in April. We actually ran one of those before and had around 30 different people participating as heroes.
Nice.
Cool.
And we broke them up into groups of 4. You could do it with your friends. You can meet new people. And really excited for what April has in store as well.
I have to now that you're talking about this, I hear cosplay like yelling at me because this is just so formulated for cosplay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the people who have playtested are LARPers. So live action role playing, dressing up as their hero. And if you go on YouTube, you'll actually see several runs where we played different modules
Nice.
dressed up as our characters.
So, dude, if you guys are cosplayers, this is the perfect game for you. You can actually sit there as your character in your cosplay and play this superhero that you have actually created your own cosplay for. Look at that.
Any day you can go out in a cape is a good day.
Exactly. I look for every excuse to wear my cape to do stuff.
How do you know I'm not wearing my cape right now?
You're not wearing anything.
Oh, I'm wearing it. Ralph, I am not that type of degenerate.
It's only the cape.
Oh,
And it's
Okay,
one
I'm
of
not
those. It's
Jerry's
one of those
dad
waist
who hides
outfits
in the-
too. That's the worst
I'm
part.
not Jerry's dad who
No.
hides in the closet wearing Superman, just watching.
No. He got that big Spawn cape, which is like goes all over the place.
Yeah,
He's-
please.
he's-
Yeah,
He's well covered. He's like-
McFarlane drew your cape. I hope.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And I have to. That's another thing there. I know you have your main artist now, but this is so. There's so many different directions you can go with this because you know there has to be some artists out there going, "Hey, create my own hero," you know.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole character sheet where you can just click a button and upload your image. So if you're an artist and you are inclined like that, which is 100% not me, my stick figures are absolutely horrible.
Mine's
But go for it.
Yeah, this really opens up to a lot of creativity, and it does feel like you're playing a comic book instead of just playing a superhero game.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. The way that I like to write the modules is in different acts. So there's like Act 1 where you learn about your challenge that you have to overcome. Act 2 is where you're actually completing the main challenge, and then Act 3 is kind of like the wrap up and what do you do afterwards. And all 3 of those are pretty important. But much like you're saying, it's the the different scenes that you would find in a comic book.
And that's what I get the whole time you've been
Yeah.
talking. That's what I keep feeling. Like like we were saying with the panels before. I keep seeing the panels. I keep seeing all this happen as a comic book, which is pretty amazing because again, I've played other superhero games and they don't feel like you're playing a comic book. They feel like you're playing a superhero game.
You remember when comics used to do that? They used to actually have the 3 acts, like read like
Yeah, you're right.
like 60s, 50s, a little older.
Mhm.
Yeah, it would just like you would like 5 pages ago, like Act 1 is Act 2, Act 3.
I haven't thought about that in a long
I'm
time.
like, yeah,
I forgot how they used to actually
wow.
act one.
Yeah.
That was
I
before
think they were
my
so
time, 'cause I
dialogue
don't
heavy back.
remember
I think
that.
they were so dialogue heavy back then too. Like so, you would need a little break sometimes. You're
That's
like,
true.
yeah.
We can't forget villain monologues. It's
Mm.
so fun putting those together, and like the
Definitely.
players are your captive audience for them.
Oh, I already know if I'm DMing this game, I'm like, so as I was saying, heroes.
Yeah, I roll for initiative.
Yeah, well,
Just
I'm gonna
midway
finish
through the
talking.
monologue.
You shut up.
Listen, we're superheroes. Why should we care about a monologue? I roll for initiative.
We have
D30.
oh man,
a legendary action to
it was
go
good. Like,
first every time.
do you remember Scotty Evil in Austin Powers? Why are you telling him your whole plan? Just kill him. Like, what are you doing? Like, zip it.
Oh my god. You gotta love the villains.
Yeah.
They make the game.
The Incredibles. You tried catching me while I was monologuing.
Exactly. So Terry, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can get to the Kickstarter. I'll actually put the Kickstarter into the chat right now while you're doing that. Go ahead. Go.
Perfect. So the easiest way for me to say it is wayofahero.com.
Yeah.
You can go there. You can get linked to our Kickstarter. You can find the Discord channel there. You can learn more about the game that we're running in April. Um, that's the main hub. If you enjoy the video, you can go there and put it on repeat and watch it time and time again if you want. I have to admit that I'm guilty of putting it on repeat and just listening to it in
Dude,
my car.
I have to tell you, last week we saw it, and I've been watching it a couple of times after that. I saw it before that. It just has that thing, and it's almost like watching, the whole X-Men beginning all over again.
Yeah. Yep. One of the funnest things to do is find inspiration songs. And so when I talk to our artist who creates all the music, I'm like, I want you to create a blend of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things. These are all of the inspiration that I'm thinking of in my mind. And by the way, here's some lyrics that I'd like you to incorporate, some central themes. And seeing people do things that I am not good at just blows my mind and inspires me to do more. So when they put out one song, that can never be the end. We're going to need like 5 more songs to complement that. Suddenly we've got a CD.
On
Exactly.
tour.
Mhm.
Go on tour. Yeah, you're right. The musician is going to be busy.
Yeah, yes.
What's the musician's name anyway?
He also goes by a pseudonym.
I'm sorry.
Dude,
if
I feel
anybody
like
had to
you're
spell it.
working with a bunch of superheroes.
Yeah.
It pretty much feels like that, honestly. Um,
That they are.
but
He's like, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
what I find is that a lot of these people that I've been working with, for example, Laszlo puts together video games. And he's like, the last thing I want is for like 100 people who want to create a video game suddenly
Ooh,
reach out
okay,
to me
yeah.
and start picking my brain about this. Like, he just doesn't have time for it.
Mm.
And I guess that's happened to him in the past before. He's like, if you want to go through everybody that wants to talk to me and find the really serious people, like, send them to me. Um, which is another thing that I'll throw out there. Like, the inspiration for this book was something that I had in my mind for a long, long time,
Right.
but I could have never made it happen without friends to support me. And some of those friends I just met playing games. So if you're interested in learning more about like how we put this book together, how we went through the playtesting process, found artists and musicians to put these things together, like drop in our Discord. And there's multiple channels that you can just pop into. And if you've got art that you want to share about your heroes and different things like that, you can just put it all in there.
That's the way to go. That's what you guys got to do. You got to go, find.
That's
Dude,
really
this
cool.
is like a plethora of ways to be creative, and it's just an amazing system. You guys need to support this. They are already funded, so now I always tell people that you want to double the money. That way, the people who are doing the Kickstarter are comfortable, Because when they fund, that just means that the project is funded. It doesn't mean they're comfortable. So always double the money, and that means that have a little more play area to play with. Shadow, you were going to say something?
I was going to say yes. It's nice to back Kickstarters as much as you can.
And how awesome would it be to see your name in print, on a bookshelf that I was part of this project?
Nothing's
Everybody
cooler than
wants to
helping
see their
someone's
names in
dreams
the
come
credits.
true.
So, guys, we are at the end of the show here. What do we have to say for our final words out there?
Thanos was right.
I knew he was going to say that.
My
Terry,
goodness.
what's your final word, Terry?
I wasn't ready.
That's a good final word. Shadow, to give Terry a couple of seconds there, what do you got to say?
As always, you gotta try to be kind to each other and to yourselves. And it's always better to have a hatchet in bad times than not.
I agree. And Roaming Tony, where can we see you next? What's going on? I see that you already posted your
Right
post.
up.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I did last week's. What did I do? I did a review for Cuphead. Then I did a review for Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, but no write up. I'll do a write up next week. I'll do a write up next week.
Right, because I hear I think the books were delayed a little bit today.
Today I got my books fine. Last week we had an issue. Today
Interesting.
Well, today I only read Spider-Man. I only get Spider-Man and X-Men, so I got them fine. But last week we didn't get Spider-Man. So in my LCS, so I had to go. Whenever my local comic store doesn't get it, I have to go over to Midtown. So today's was fine. So I mean, sometimes it depends. Like sometimes they'll tell me, "Oh, I had a bunch of issues." She'll tell me, "I had a bunch of issues with this book and that book, but you're fine." So sometimes we might go through a crack.
That's always what we want to hear.
Yeah,
I had issues, but you're fine.
Oh, so good. Well. So yeah.
All right. So Terry, did we find the words?
Just find a way to be a hero in your daily life.
Hey, that's a good.
That's great. That's a good one. There you go. All right, guys, this has been the Written Writ. I will do what I always do here. Check us out on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Apple Bites, on Wednesdays for the Written Writ Late Right, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Next week, we will be continuing our D&D or role-playing influenced couple of weeks, because next week we actually got a comic book that's come from a D&D campaign. And I've always liked those projects that come from campaigns that have actually happened. And 2 weeks from now, we will have the cuteness, which is that beginner D&D playing fuzziness that we saw last week, which I can't wait for. Because I always want to find a nice, easy thing to ease new players into D&D. And I'm hoping this is it.
I'll just throw them into the newest edition, bro. Just throw them right in.
I've done that before. They all die.
Exactly. That's the fun part. Just throw them all in.
Anything to get people to feel more comfortable with themselves.
No, you gotta feel comfortable with loss and despair.
Where are you today, bro?
Are you okay?
Listen, there's a reason why people like Elden Ring, and it's not because it's easy.
man.
It's not because it's
okay,
easy. People
man.
like it because it's hard.
Yes, the masochist is really showing.
Turn off CNN, man. Just
Yeah,
take a little break.
Just say no to Twitter and all that for 24 hours and see if you feel better.
Oh my God!
Now, Rome fell once. It's okay. It's
Another reason
okay.
to get to fund this campaign is to
It might
leave
not
the
be.
real world, enjoy
Yes.
the fantasy of actually being able to save the world,
Or completely destroy it.
It's not a fantasy. You can save the world
You can
by
destroy
saving
it too.
yourself. And people
Oh
forget
my
you.
god.
More carbon. More carbon.
This descended quickly. My goodness.
With that, I'll do what I always do.
All
No,
right,
actually,
KFM, Batman, X-Men, or TMNT. Now, you hit the end button, right?
what I usually do is
Deadpool.
chalk us out, but I have to see it again. So